fingers are going places that they definitely should, and everybody's just having a great time, and you are making love. I mean, it's you penetrate so deeply that it's like your souls are touching, right? You ever had one of those moments?
Ridiculous. He's 21 years old. He's in the National Guard. How the fuck does he get access to these type of classified documents?
Our listenership is increasing weekly, and so we have some of you out there who might not know our stance. We are not Trumpers. We are not pro-Trump. We're certainly not pro-Biden. We're just thinking individuals, free-thinking American citizens who want to know the truth. And so each week we try and explore what that means. I don't
understand what, and honestly, this led to another conversation we had, because this is happening in our major cities. And that's why I think that the first 15-minute cities are going to be Chicago, Portland, and San Francisco. And with the news that came out this week about San Francisco going ahead and putting out the National Guard to be able to deal with the drug abuse in, I think it's the Timberline area, that's where this starts. I think the underlying narrative is let our major cities fall apart until they have to act out and do something major. I think that's what's coming.
You're about to listen to Whiskey Hell Podcast, a show centered on recent news, excellent craft beer, and absolute debauchery. While the guys are getting ready, you can reach them on Twitter at whiskey_hell. You can also go to the whiskeyhellpod.com or email them at whiskeyhellpod@gmail.com. At the end, be sure to drop them a review as a thank you for the content. Looks like they're ready. Enjoy the show, and listener discretion is advised.
Saturday, April 22nd. It is 7:41 in the evening. This is Whiskey Hell, your news show, bringing you all of the narratives, all of the weirdness in the world, everything that you should and probably should just be aware of. Fitz, how's it going?
McShane, I am alive and kicking. I mean, and by kicking, I mean, my legs are
kicking.
they're well, no, they're just twitching. They're just twitching. I'm not full on, giving a punt to the crotch of life or anything. I'm just sort of twitching, but I'm here and excited for the show. So
it's not that twitching that comes with like when you see you've seen those awful videos online about like chickens after they've died and they start walking away.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I had.
Is it like that or?
Did I ever tell you that story about the Christmas turkey?
God, no.
No,
I don't think so.
I'm not sure that's an on air that's an on air story, but remind me at some point to tell you about the Christmas turkey. Turkeys are the same. If you cut their head off, the body tends to get up and run. No, this is more of for me. Yeah, this is more of like you're just kind of falling asleep. You're comfy, the mood is perfect, and you're just drifting off to sleep. And then for whatever reason, your brain is like, "Hey, you're on a skateboard. Whoa, you just slipped," and you kick yourself awake. That's how this week's gone for me. I've just kind of been jerking myself awake all week, and I mean, it feels good, man. It feels real good. Oh God.
So it's been nothing but death dreams.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not shocking at all.
No, right. Like, you have that moment where you're like, am I really dead? Or, did I really just have a concussion? But you're not. It's just a dream. Just your brain fucking with you. Surprise. But no, it's actually, to be honest, it's been a good week. This was a big week for me. not to go into too many details, but did have an interview on Friday. I feel like it went well. So we'll see. We'll see.
Awesome.
New chapters in life,
You know what? I think that really maybe that you may have just titled the show after the lineup that we've got here. New title or new chapters in life.
Truly.
Might fit a lot here because we've got kids rioting in Chicago. We've got Biden, a bombshell that was leaked this week. We've got
yeah, that was some big stuff there. I mean, of course we know why, but it's shocking to me that mainstream media is not covering it. But
they
please.
want to have nothing to do with it. They want to have nothing to do with it.
They don't want to touch that hot brick because they were complicit in it, or at least they might have even been active in doing it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yikes.
We're going to get into the Starship launch, which was actually one of those moments. It's one large step for mankind moments, but everybody's shit all over it.
My God. Yes.
It really is fantastic how jaded people are. We got a ton. What beer are you drinking? Let's get
a lot of stuff. Yeah. So I'm starting off the night. I tell you what, I got a honey of a beer coming up here for my second one. But I'm actually looking forward to seeing what this one's all about. This is from Level Beer here in Oregon. They're from Portland. And Level, if you've not heard of them, they've got kind of a unique gig going on. They brew their own beer, but each of their pubs that they have, it's also an arcade. So it's kind of like, leveling up in a game or whatever. So,
awesome.
And I think we went there one of the times you were up here visiting.
That's what I was going to ask you, if it was the same
Yep.
outfit, because I don't think they were brewing at the time. That's awesome that they branched out to do that.
They were brewing, but it was really kind of a small little, just at a couple of their locations in Portland. Now they branched out. They're actually canning and sending their stuff out into the wild, and it's
Fantastic.
Pretty awesome. So
right.
so this one is called their chocolate dynamite.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
All
yeah,
right.
and it's got kind of a Dia de los Muertos, theme to the cover of the can here. So it's a chocolate stout. I'm starting off with the lighter of the two beers first. So this is only a 6.1%, but it's a chocolate stout that has been let's see, it's been conditioned in cocoa nibs. So that's where we're getting the chocolate from.
Okay.
So Oh, wow. Hey, wow. Okay. So, McShane, stay with me here, okay?
All right.
No, I mean,
I'm buckled in.
Okay. You know those times when you're with your special someone, and the night just went off right? I mean, there's dinner and a movie or whatever it is that you guys are into, and then
you're about to get some chocolate dynamite.
Hold on.
Okay.
Things move on into the bedroom, and maybe you even light some candles. You get out the sex oil or whatever you're into, and you're making love. I mean, it's as much a makeout session as it is hands are wandering all over the place, and fingers are going places that they definitely should, and everybody's just having a great time, and you are making love. I mean, it's you penetrate so deeply that it's like your souls are touching, right? You ever had one of those moments?
Yes.
Okay. I have too. So this beer is not that. this beer is two lions on the tundra. Just animal fucking. This is somebody looks down at someone else's genitalia, spits on it, and says, "Let's go." This beer is like right in your face. There's nothing sexy about it. The chocolate it's there, but it's not overpowering. This is like it's just more bitter than I thought it was going to be for a stout. It's almost like they over roasted their barley or something. I don't know.
Okay. So the malt is
it's
malt
malty.
is bitter.
The malt is bitter. That might be exactly what it is. Yes. This one's not a nice. I thought 6.1. I'm gonna just be able to sip this bad boy and and it kind of hits you in the face. So yeah, I mean, it's good. We're having sex over here. We're gonna enjoy each other, but this is not no nobody's soul's gonna touch anyone else's tonight. This is
So,
just spit and go.
so you guys just kind of you saw each other in the hall and decided to just go for it.
Yeah, or maybe we've been eyeing each other, through bars. This is like a conjugal visit. You know, she's she's there for someone else, but she's seen me, and it's like, hey, I want to check in with him one day, and then you get your 10 minutes, so you got to get to town. There's no dinner, there's no talking, there's
So,
certainly no candles.
so the beer is a conjugal visit.
It's exactly what it is. This is my
Jesus.
conjugal visit here.
All right. Well,
Woo!
that's beautiful. That is
Okay.
beautiful.
That came out of nowhere. I was not expecting that with this beer though at all. It's a little rude, and I'm digging it. But it's a little rude.
All right. Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely
that is
is. So
okay.
what do you got going over there? What are you doing?
All right. So I'm continuing diving deeper into Tripping Animals Brewery out of Miami.
Oh yeah, right.
So I've had them on the show a couple times now. I have a collaboration with Mortalis Brewing, and this one's called Puff the Magic Hydra.
Oh,
Very,
okay.
yeah, very cool looking can. I think I'm gonna go sours back to back tonight. It's a 7%er.
Okay.
This one is a sour ale brewed with raspberry, blackberry, kiwi, and marshmallow.
Wow.
Very, very, very cool can. It pours a raspberry looking. It's almost like a raspberry puree color. If you kind of follow me there.
Sure. Absolutely.
It's not thick though, so.
Okay. Dude, I dig that artwork on that can. That's cool looking.
Yeah, it is pretty neat. In fact, let me bring up what I'm looking at here because they're not. Yeah, it's this one here. Because that's actually that's the beer
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah,
but
look at
they're
that.
not. It's sweet smelling. The nose has a lot of marshmallow, a lot of raspberry, very fruity. So let's give it its time. Oh. Huh.
We got another conjugal visit here.
Um. No. This is a this is I'm laying on the psychiatrist's couch, and by the end of the night I'm going to be telling things. That's interesting.
Is she hot? The
Yeah,
psychiatrist, I mean.
Yeah, she's got the
Yeah.
black leggings, the thigh highs.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Black outfit.
Let's stop
Yeah.
right there. We got a show to do here.
All right, that's true. Great sour. Almost a slushy. Kind of.
Yeah.
Very strange because this beer I've had in the fridge since yesterday. I was expecting it to be much colder than it is. Nothing wrong with the fridge. This beer does not hold on to the cold. It is a very I don't know that I've ever had a beer have that kind of mouthfeel before, where I'm not getting the temperature that I was expecting either. Very strange. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, I can't believe
liking it.
how thick that thing looks. That's just, I mean, like you said, it's like a raspberry smoothie. No, let's just go with that. I have raspberries out here in the backyard, and they're
Yeah.
actually they're the neighbors' raspberries that have just crept under the fence, and now they're growing on my side. And every year I usually kind of cut them back because they're kind of growing in a spot I don't necessarily want them to grow. But this year, well, last year when all the raspberries were done fruiting, I just left them. And even though it's been cold and rainy here, the plants are like, no, we're gonna do our thing. It's spring, and oh my God, am I gonna have a ton of raspberries? Holy cow!
That's awesome.
It's probably twice as much as I've ever had before. Just judging by the size of the bush. So I'm excited for that because those are my favorites. The particular kind that they're growing, I forget what they're called. They have an actual name, and they're just, oh God, they're just that perfect amount of sweet with that raspberry kind of fragrance to them. Oh, I can't wait. Can't wait. So I'll keep everybody updated on that.
Yeah, you need to start making mead.
I do. And or, a good raspberry beer or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a buddy of mine and I are actually considering going in halvesies on a distiller.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And of course, we're not going to plug it in or use it because that's illegal, but you can own
Right.
one.
That's all
So
you
we're
got to
gonna,
do. It's just there to look at.
yeah, no, it's beautiful. It's copper, so anyway, that also could be a fun avenue to pursue. So
I like it.
yeah, good stuff.
All right. Let's get our first break out of the way, and we'll get back into housekeeping here.
Bingo.
All right. No polls this week. We got some good feedback on the Twitters of various subjects, and we'll get into those as the show kind of carries on. Because we've got a lot that actually came with some of the comments that we made online throughout the week. So we got some, there's some commentary there. I think the main thing we wanted to check out was going to be this the beer exchange. We wanted to explore. So you're going to be sending something to Gray's tap room.
Yep.
And I am going to go ahead and send something to Moose Lodge.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited about this beer exchange program. Number one, because again, as we've talked about on the show, I mean, I can only get so much here, and you can only get so much there. And I'm sure, likewise, they're not getting a lot of beers, on that side of the Rockies that we get over here. So, I think this first batch is going to be kind of tame, as far as here's some just, things that really, really represent the Pacific Northwest. But then I think as this exchange sort of starts going back and forth, I really want to branch out and just say, hey, here's what the brewers are doing with some crazy stuff up here. What do you guys got going on? But yeah, I'm excited for all this, and we've briefly talked to them about it, but I don't think we've put the stamp of for surety. I don't know what that word is, but there it is. So tonight we're proud to announce we're going to be starting our beer exchange program and give some homeless beers a home, and I'm excited about it.
So I think one of the stipulations we should put on it needs to be local.
Yes, 100%. Right. Because if you send me some fucking Mick Ultra, I will come find you.
Okay, that you might get some Michelob Ultra depending on who's sending us the beers in.
Oh, that's
somebody
true.
might
That's
want
true.
you to
that might not be a threat to some folks. Yeah, so I like that stipulation. It's got to be something, local or even if it's just like they can get something from Boston that we can't get out here. That would be cool too.
Yeah. I'm going to stick to Arizona beers. I will probably do something from Oso. Maybe something from, we'll see, maybe Arizona Wilderness. And I know after talking to Moose Lodge, they were into darker beers. So I may have a shot at some BRI, Beer Research Institute, one of the Putins, or a Dark Side Till I Die. So I'm going to try and go that route.
Yeah, I mean, those Putins need to come with a warning label. Those are big beers.
That's no, totally. Let's try and keep it to right around $20, somewhere in there.
Great.
I think that's a good way to go. They'll probably be a good 4 beers depending on what I like that plan, and I think it's definitely a good way to kind of break things up too. So.
Yep, agreed. It's a plan, and I think it'd be fun too if we we keep talking about maybe having some guests on the show, but it'd be fun if they reviewed beers we sent them while they were on the show, just so we could kind of get their take on, God, I love that beer. What do you think about it? And they fucking hate it or whatever.
Right.
I think I just think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree. And we'll try and throw some stickers and stuff into the box too. So.
Yes. Yeah, we got plenty of stickers.
Last week we didn't get into the 21-year-old that was picked up for allegedly putting out all of the classified documents on Ukraine,
Right.
China, and,
Right.
and all that.
The big military dossier leak.
Yeah. We didn't get into that, and Fitz, this seemed like one of those convenience things.
Totally. I mean, you talk about a patsy. This is a patsy with a capital P. Well, go ahead. I want to hear your thoughts on it, but I actually have been, listening to people that are, either from the intelligence community or they are well versed in the intelligence community about this. So I definitely have an opinion about this poor kid. But go ahead.
I guess my thing is, and I don't even. This is even without diving deep into it. Okay, I haven't. I really haven't, because it seems so blatantly, obviously ridiculous. He's 21 years old. He's in the National Guard. How the fuck does he get access to these type of classified documents?
You bet.
It doesn't make any sense. This kid, 21-year-old Jack Teixeira. How does he get the documents to dump into his Discord group? That was even a little weird. So he's in a gaming group, and he's just gonna drop the documents in there, and we haven't heard from this guy. He's locked away.
We haven't heard from his lawyer, which I know he's in the military, so he's it's gonna go to JAG, but he still gets a lawyer, and you would think that lawyer would still want to make a statement. My client is guilty, or my client is not guilty, or my client's going to, plead guilty. I mean, it's just been like, hey, that weird video footage. I don't know if that was from a drone or a helicopter, but you see the kid get arrested. He's in an army shirt and red basketball shorts, like he was, on his couch gaming. And then here comes the military police. The MPs come rolling up. And then they basically black bag him. I mean, that car they took him away in, that's nondescript. You don't know where the fuck he went.
Well, and look at it. You could see it right in this. So we're watching a video from Raw Alerts.
Yeah.
And you could see they stuck him in this armored carrier.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a no doubter.
No, like he's some kind of threat, or that his gaming group is going to, attempt a rescue on him. So we better put him in the armored vehicle. I don't know, dude. So the basic consensus from the intelligence community, and you touched on it, is that there's no way this 21-year-old kid in the reserve would have any access to anything near the clearance needed to find these documents. No way. And so, so then you go, okay, well then who are they? Who sacrificed this kid so that they could stay clean? I mean, who knows? But there's just no way. I mean, this one guy he's ex-CIA, worked on, X, Y, and Z task force for years. And he was like, the clearance required for this information, it took me 15 years in the agency to acquire that level of clearance. And he said, and I was a good boy. I worked hard and I got my clearance early. There's no way a 21-year-old is going to have access to this kind of info. So, and I don't know. So do we again, they take a big spoonful of, bullshit and they're feeding it to the American public, and people are just eating it like, oh yeah, get rid of this kid. Another crazy. I don't know. And what was leaked was pretty damning. I mean, it basically, it's got the whole timeline from when they knew Ukraine was going to be invaded to each of the plans. I mean, down to, I think Zelensky was even, which TV appearances he was going to make and which interviews he was going to do. And this was all written before it all happened.
I just want to know why it wasn't, in like in a movie script or something. That would have been way more convenient to do.
Yeah. Yeah. No, written out like a script, and where are all the marks on the floor? Right. I mean, we do kind of have that going on. Poor Joe Biden can't hit a mark to save his life.
So I don't know what to do with this one. I know I keep saying that because honestly, I don't know who would have anything to do with this one. Yes, he could be a patsy. He could be somebody else higher up leaked it, so they're going to go and throw this 21-year-old kid under the bus. You know, hey kid, you go ahead and take the fall. We'll help you disappear for 3, 4, or 5 years. Change your name. Here's $5 million. Go to the Caribbean for a while.
Yeah.
You know, it could be one of those kind of things too.
Yep.
I don't think there's anything that it's way too suspect, and it's just almost kind of going back, you know, months ago we talked about how nobody's trying anymore.
Right.
This feels like one of those moments where there's putting in zero effort.
I totally agree, dude. 100%. It's like, just feed him this kid. I don't know. And you're right. You know, maybe the payoff there is listen, we're going to show up. We're going to scare the crap out of you. You're not going to know when we're coming. Don't fight back. Just go with us. And then at the end of all this, you're going to get a nice payday, kid. You're never going to see your friends and family again, but you're going to get a nice payday, and you're going to get to go hang out on a white beach. You know, that's been done before, you know, witness protection kind of shit. So who knows?
All right. Decision time. No. Let's stay here. Let's go here. Does that sound good?
Yep. 100%.
All right. I know we got a Hefe coming in here at some point, so we'll see if we can get this one in before he comes.
It looks like he wasn't sure. It was either going to be 8 or 8:40. It looks like it's going to be the 8:40. So we got a little time.
Okay. Attorney General Merrick Garland is the unnamed official whose sworn testimony to Congress is being challenged in a bombshell letter from an IRS whistleblower attorney alleging a cover-up in the Hunter Biden criminal investigation.
This is sickening to me, the whole thing. Mostly, I guess, because and I remember distinctly, you and I, when the Hunter Biden story broke, there was a lot of skepticism. Like, why the fuck would this idiot take his computer to some random shop in Jersey and leave it there for quote unquote repairs? I mean, why would he do that? But now we've learned more about Hunter Biden, and now that seems almost like obvious that that's something he would do because he's a fucking moron. But anyway, you know, anybody who was asking any questions about this, you know, and a lot of people's careers were destroyed because they were asking questions about this and wanted to know more. And it was like, oh my God, it's Russian disinformation. Just sowing the seeds of doubt. Just, you know, it's ridiculous. Now it's coming out that this was a real thing, and that, and if we're getting down to the brass tacks, that there was a organized, coordinated effort to interfere in the 2020 elections. That's what we're getting to here, because what was it? 62% of Americans said they would have voted differently had the Hunter Biden laptop story been real. 62%. Well, you know, they wouldn't have voted. It wouldn't have made them vote for Biden. That wouldn't have been their switch. So I mean, I want to know at this point, McShane, I want to know whose head is going to roll, whose heads are going to be coming down the Capitol Hill, separated from their bodies, because I want people to go down for this. And it's every week, it's like bombshell after bombshell pointing fingers at these corrupt politicians who can't seem to keep their hands out of other people's pockets and, or, you know, have people off themselves, quote unquote, or pay for an election or whatever. And I'm tired of it. It's like, come on already. Let's get these people out of office. Let's arrest them. Let's get their families out of power, and let's get in some new blood. And I'm skeptical. I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, and we're going into an election cycle.
Yep.
And I mean, and the number of individuals coming out for that election are pretty, I mean, we've got a ton of people coming out now. The other thing I wanted to get into was this business with Blinken and the 51 spooks that wrote the Russian propaganda.
Right.
I really didn't want this to be true. How do we how does this guy stay in office?
That's what I mean. What is being done about this? Why are there not already impeachment proceedings happening? And I listen, we just to state it again, because we do have some new listeners out there. Our listenership is increasing weekly, and so we have some of you out there who might not know our stance. We are not Trumpers. We are not pro-Trump. We're certainly not pro-Biden. We're just thinking individuals, free-thinking American citizens who want to know the truth. And so each week we try and explore what that means. I don't know that we ever get to it, because you're getting so much disinformation at this point. You don't know what's real, what isn't. But we're trying to get there. That is our goal. And so this is not a pro-Trump statement. In fact, I think Trump should have been indicted too, and probably brought up on impeachment charges. But that's neither here nor there. He's out. This is the dude in office right now who can't put together a sentence. Why are there not impeachment discussions at the very least being had right now? Why? That's what I want to know. And like you mentioned, Blinken, all these 51, CIA spooks that wrote this stuff. Why do they still have government jobs? Why is my money going to paying their salaries?
So Blinken was actually, I think he was the head of Biden's campaign when all this happened.
Right.
So New York Post article, ex-CIA chief spills on how he got spies to write false Hunter Biden laptop letter to help Biden. Joe Biden's presidential campaign prompted former acting CIA director Mike Morell to help Biden by organizing 50 colleagues to sign a letter in October 2020, falsely claiming that damning emails from Hunter Biden's laptop published by the Post were Russian disinformation. In a private sworn testimony, Morell told the House Judiciary Committee that Antony Blinken, now Secretary of State, was the senior campaign official who reached out to him on or before October 17th, 2020, 3 days after the Post published an email from the laptop suggesting Hunter had introduced his Ukrainian business partner to his father, then vice president. This stinks. We're beyond smoke and fire. We are to a raging forest of shit that is on fire, and we're funneling money into Ukraine. Billions. We've got proof now that Antony Blinken was manipulating a election. I don't see how everybody's not doing jail time.
That's what I'm saying. To go back to your analogy that we got this raging, forest of shit fire going on. And we have pictures of these people holding gas cans and lighters, but we would need to do an investigation. I mean, it's that obvious. It's like, we know who set the fire. We know why they set the fire. Why are we not prosecuting these people to the fullest extent? I'm
because Garland's he's the head.
I mean, and that's the other thing is, we're not talking about like local municipalities and local corruption, which seems to be somehow persecuted more than this is at a national level, ready to go to war. I mean, this is damn near a wartime president we're looking at, who has his hands so filthy and dirty with the shit from years and years in Washington, and doesn't even wash his hands before he goes into a meeting. And we're all like, well, he smells like shit. It looks like there's shit on his hands, but hey, let's let him stay in power. I'm just, God, you just shake your head. This is like Watergate level stuff, and we're just letting it go. I don't know. But of course, I bring up Watergate. Now we know more about Watergate too, and that was all a Black Swan event too. So I guess there's no truth in anything anymore.
It feels like it. Hey, Pete had a rough week.
Oh, Pete Buttigieg. I don't even know. I've heard his name pronounced so many times, and I'm not trying to, because I mean, listen, I grew up having my name mispronounced, so I get it. But how do you say his name? Is it Buttigieg? I've heard it, Buttigieg. I've heard.
I think it's Buttigieg.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Buttigieg. But,
Everybody pronounces it wrong. I mean,
but if you're French, it would just be booty or booty cake. I don't know. What would it be? Oh, well, anyway, yes, Pete. Let's go with Pete. Pete had a rough week.
One of the big concerns at this convention that came up that you addressed head on is the disparity in road fatalities. A lot of people don't understand, even down to road fatalities, it's not equal.
That's right.
And it's something that you took on at this convention and you've taken on. Tell us about your concerns and the steps we're taking to try and deal with that, because that's a major, major problem.
It is, and it's something that deserves more attention, which is why I'm working to bring more attention to it. We've got a crisis when it comes to roadway fatalities in America. We lose about 40,000 people every year. It's a level that's comparable to gun violence. And we see a lot of racial disparities. Black and brown Americans, tribal citizens, and rural residents much more likely to lose their lives, whether it's in a car or as a pedestrian being hit by a car. There are a lot of reasons related to discrimination, related to even the ways that roads are designed and built. Who has access to a safe street design that's got crosswalks and good lighting? Who doesn't have that access? That can drive disparities, and we have a responsibility to act on that.
Shut the fuck up.
You got to be fucking kidding me with
Come
this
on.
stuff.
Roadways are racist. The amount of attention that he puts on things like this is racist.
Yes, it is. You're right.
Roadways don't cause. Roadways are not racist. I'm sorry. That is the biggest pile of shit that I've heard him say. Well, until the next thing we're going to talk about, he had a bad week.
Yeah.
But I get that, you want to say that, roadways and communities and they ones that are, more ethnically diverse, right? You're going to have, they want to say, well, nobody pays attention to them, that nobody's putting in roadways and putting in crosswalks and making sure lights work. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. I think if you wanted to call attention to anything, our infrastructure sucks overall.
Yep.
It has nothing to do with race. There's everything to do with it. We don't do anything with it. Period. Look at our railways. Look at our highway system.
Right.
This is just another, let's go ahead and pay more rather than dealing with the overall issue. Let's go ahead and buy some votes from our, the ethnically diverse population that we are hoping are going to vote Democrat in 2 years. That's what all this is.
Yep. That's exactly right. And I just found the report that he's basing that ridiculous statement on. I feel like I should have done my homework here for the show and read the report. Because it's done by this private data analysis was conducted by Richard Redding, formerly of Sam Schwartz Consulting. Review and input were provided by Sam Schwartz's Mariah Richardson, transportation engineer Hugh Smith, senior associate and director. Okay, so all these people, right? What is this nonprofit? Who funds them? Where do they get this? And the numbers, I'm just glancing at the report here. They show some pretty powerful graphs, and I'm sorry, I'm not.
What was the name of his nonprofit?
Let's see. It was well, he was formerly of Sam Schwartz Consulting, but it's
what was his name?
Sam. His name is Richard Redding. Yeah, look up Sam Schwartz Consulting because it looks like he was working there when this report was put together.
Okay.
And this whole thing, so this Sam Schwartz Consulting is tasked with integrating the principles of inclusion, belonging, and equity across all dimensions of the firm's work. So it's like they're already looking at it through a certain colored lens of equity and belonging and inclusion. So what do you think they're going to find? And what was this report funded to find? It's like all the climate change scientists. Everyone's like, well, there's a consensus out there in the scientific community. Yeah, because the scientists doing the studies are looking where the money's at, and there's money in these grants available for people who are looking for climate change, not to find out what's really going on, but just if you can prove there's climate change, you get this X amount of. That's where the funding is aimed. So I just want to know where the funding was aimed for this study. But they're saying that the least likely to die on the road are Asians, and I'm sorry, that can't be true. That can't be. I'm not trying to make a statement. I'm just saying that can't be true. The highest, most likely, and this actually makes sense to me, is American Indian and Alaska Natives. Well, yeah, because where they live, where we have subjugated them to their reservations, it's all dirt roads. There's no sidewalks. There's no safe place to walk. There's no crosswalks. There's no anything. It's poor and it's terrible and it's desolate, and nobody seems to care about that. And so, yeah, I could see them being more likely to be killed. But I also want to know, like, what's in this? Like, if two drivers are, one does a drive-by shooting and shoots somebody else in a car, is that considered in this data? Or are we just strictly talking car accidents, pedestrians being hit, things like that? I mean, I want to do more analysis here on this. I don't buy it. And I want to be proven wrong, but I just don't buy it.
Well, there's a lot not to buy, because this is the same guy that announced that, well, our crash test dummies we need to have female crash test dummies.
I would like him to help me understand this. Now, you and I and Hefe had a really funny discussion about this. I mean, I could see that, like, the old model of the used, defiled, ready to retire real doll could then find a
strap her in and let her go.
Have another function as a crash test dummy. But I failed to understand why that would make a difference. And he literally said there's an inequality there.
Oh, he totally did. Well, here, let's listen to Representative Rosa DeLauro.
Yeah.
You also plan to make important investments to address the roadway safety crisis, including the critical funding that would accelerate the development, and this is an area I've written to you about, of the use of female dummies in crash testing. This will start to fight the gender inequity among vehicle safety and crash victims.
Is there really gender inequity in crash test dummies?
Here's the thing. If they're going to start making female crash test dummies because there's some kind of inequity, then they need to start putting penises on these things. Like, the male ones need to have a giant schlong so we can see the physics of a car accident and what happens to your testicles.
A
small one, right? Yep. Let's not neglect. Yes, exactly. We need to represent, and some transgendered. We don't know how that's going to go. I do know, actually, of a really weird story that a guy who went to the Bosley, hair implant place.
Okay.
He went all the way to the Bosley place, got all of his hair implants, and he got in a car accident on the way home. And the physics of a car accident, was a pretty bad car accident, and all of his hair implants fell out. So I feel like we need to make a crash test dummy with hair implants so we can see what the physics of that are. What else? What am I missing? Well, we need one for,
we got to have sizes too.
Little people. Yes, that's what I was going to say. Little people. Right. We need black dummies. We need Asian dummies. We need,
yes, for sure,
Native American dummies.
Especially if we're trying to make our roadways safer, we need to make sure that we have all the ethnic groups covered. We need some people who have different disabilities too.
Yep. Well, and you don't know if that seatbelt is racist or not. You won't know that until you put a black dummy in it.
God, that's
Because
such a
I
good
think
point.
that the seatbelt holds me back different than it holds back somebody who's, ethnic or gay.
It totally does. It totally does. And when cars hit walls, you don't know that wall might be racist.
Oh, the wall is definitely racist. I mean, it's definitely, and so maybe we should start our own nonprofit, people for, non-racist seatbelts.
I like this.
We'll
get a grant from the government because Pete should sign off on that.
Oh, we'll get a huge grant from the government, dude. We just funded our retirement right there. Wow, this kind of stuff. I mean, yes, guys, we're being absurd. That's how absurd this is. It's ridiculous. And if you buy into it on any level, if you're like, well, maybe, please,
No.
please.
Yeah.
Just rethink.
Just
Just check yourself before you racistly
wreck yourself.
This is so absurd.
Let's take a quick break.
All right.
So I got a question for you. What the hell is it with the Red Cross?
The question could just stop at what the hell. But yeah, Red Cross. I don't know what the hell. I found this one. And
and it's bizarre. This is
Hefe mentioned earlier this week, like we can't tell what's like the Babylon Bee or what's coming from the Onion anymore because this was one where I was like, oh, this will be funny to send to the guys. This is hilarious because it's a Babylon Bee. And then I click on it. It's a real story, guys. This is real. This is real. Go ahead.
So this is a Vice article. Gamers encouraged not to commit war crimes in Fortnite mode. Designed by Red Cross. So the Red Cross, the ICRC, is asking gamers to follow the rules of war when they're murdering friends and enemies in Fortnite, Call of Duty, Warzone, and Escape from Tarkov. Play by the rules.
How you play first-person shooters makes a difference on battlefields in real life. That's their quote. That's their quote.
Oh, my God.
Clearly, these people have never played a game in their lives. So I guess that
it's a game.
God. Oh my God!
It's a fucking game.
So is there going to be a movement where we have to have rights for the dots that Pac-Man ate? All those dots he ate back in the 80s?
No, they're going to get reparations though.
What happened? Well, yeah, they need to. All of their ancestors need to have reparations. You bet.
The laws of armed conflict are very real, but the ICRC has simplified them for video games. They are no thirsting when an enemy is down and can't respond. You can't keep shooting at them. No targeting non-violent NPCs. That's half the fun.
Yep.
No targeting civilian buildings. Use med kits on everyone. So when you shoot them, go heal them, guys.
Yeah, because they're gonna just let you come up and heal them, and then they're not gonna shoot you after you walk away. No way. I don't understand.
People donate money to these guys, and typically they actually do some nice work. But maybe they should stay out of the social. I don't even know what I want to call that.
Pop culture.
Maybe stay out of pop culture. Maybe stay out of gaming. And this article is on Vice, and you guys can check it out in our show notes. But I was just blown away. I showed it to my kids, and both of them rolled their eyes. I go, do I? And I just asked them now, or I told them you also can't teabag a guy you just knocked down too. So
well, yeah, and I mean, there was a whole thing in Call of Duty, which I would say was probably the series you and I played the most. Yeah. And it got to that point where there was a thing where you could take somebody's talisman, or you could take their dog tags or whatever after you got the kill, and it gave you extra bonuses in the game, and you could unlock different outfits and stuff. I mean, it was encouraged that you go and loot the bodies.
Right. It still is.
And that's fun because it's a game. I wouldn't do it in real life. It wouldn't change how I would act on the real battlefield. My God.
But here's the thing, though. It's almost like we're trying to set up some rules, right? Because we're expecting this to happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and teach you now that there are rules of war. So when this happens to us, you need to make sure that you're not going out and, killing people when they're actually dead. You need to, you knock them down, you shoot them, and then you save them. Bullshit like that. If the shit hits the fan,
Dude.
nope.
No. All bets are off.
It's war. There aren't any rules. Okay, you're supposed to. Okay, you don't throw around like mustard gas, right? You're supposed to, if somebody gives themselves up, you don't kill them, right? There's rules against some kinds of torture. You're going to see stuff like that. But
yes, but it's the fog of war.
Yes.
And shit happens. That's people. This is clearly written by people who have A, never played a game, B, never actually been in war. I mean, you are, wow. There are so many things to unpack on this one.
And this is on top of seeing all the different videos that come out, just for Ukraine. I mean, we've seen it could be staged, who knows, but we've seen the videos of soldiers being beheaded.
Yep.
Okay.
My favorite, and I don't know how this falls under the Nuremberg Code. I really don't, but they'll fly a drone over some guy who's in a trench. And he's laying down, trying not to get shot, and they'll fly a drone over it and drop a grenade on his feet.
Yes,
we've seen that. What?
Yeah,
but you want us to play video games by the rules of war? This is absurd. Again, I'm gonna keep using that word tonight. Apparently, I just can't believe it. I mean, in some of these games, part of the fun is like, all right, I'm gonna see if I can take out these dudes with a flamethrower.
Yes.
Because I can. Because if I get shot, it's not real death. It's just I set a bunch of people on fire and now I get to respawn somewhere and try again. And I know this sounds, for those of you who aren't gamers, this sounds brutal and awful, but you go into it knowing it's a game and you get to act out some of your, weird little urges that come up or whatever, and not have to do it in real life or not have it fester and be like, I wonder what it would be like to set people on fire. You can just do it in the game and get it over with. This is wow. Anyway, so that's a thing. Thank you, Red Cross. Thank you
for giving us content tonight.
Yeah,
because we didn't have enough. All right, let's stay on the tech and let's stay with something that kind of I think does target our kids.
I'm curious to hear, because we didn't get to discuss this much, and I'm curious to hear your reaction as a father of two fighting age men.
So I hate it. This is the Georgia National Guard will use phone location tracking to recruit high school children. So what they're going to do is they're going to use geofencing. If your kid goes to school, they're going to target ads for that area, and they're gonna try and recruit your kids. That's what it is. They have 67 different public high schools in Georgia. That the federal contract materials outline plans to geofence those schools so that they can target their kids' phones, ones that may not even be a fighting age, because there's really no way to differentiate a 17-year-old from a 15-year-old.
Yeah. And
we know kids of all ages have phones now.
Yep.
In fact, I think Hefe was just talking about whether he's going to get a new phone for one of his youngest. And I mean, it's scary shit. And my kids, I have an open dialogue with my kids about war, about why things are happening, what's the real story behind it, what you're actually fighting for. You're not fighting for freedom necessarily, but you're fighting to make sure somebody has oil rights, right? Yeah, you're defending an agenda a lot of times, And that's not to knock our veterans. You guys are amazing. You fought in places that I would never go. And we don't treat you nearly well enough.
Amen.
But this is targeting our kids, and they're impressionable at 16 and 17 and 18. Oftentimes they're lost. And this is just one more thing that, no, I don't like it. Now, if they naturally went to it, I don't have any problem with ROTC being in schools. I think it's a little weird, but okay. You know, I get it. I think, the military can give you good discipline. I do believe that.
Yep.
But I don't think targeting kids through a phone, through their devices, on computers is right. That's marketing, and it's shitty. It happens to us every day. Every time I open up Twitter, doesn't matter the city that I'm in, I'm going to get ads that are for whatever city I'm in. That's how you get, Uber Eats. If you're driving down the road, you're going to get targeted ads. Oh, look, you're near a Jack in the Box. You're going to get an ad for it. So we do it, and I hate it. And this one I would fight back over. This is not good.
I actually, and I don't know for a fact, but I feel like this is a lawsuit waiting to happen. Hey, we do have a Hefe sighting here.
Speaking of lawsuits waiting to happen.
Yes, yeah. Given your history, it's good that you're here now. No, I just, the scenario would be, your kid gets one of these ads, they get the idea in their head that they're going to join the military, they join, they're a less than successful soldier, but they get put into a war theater and they get killed. You think those parents aren't going to sue the shit out of the American government?
Oh, I would.
Right. So I just think it's a really strange line to walk, and the government's choosing to walk it. And I mean, there's consequences to every action. So there will be consequences to that. I mean, Hefe, what are your thoughts? You're also a father. We're talking about that story with the, in Georgia, they're targeting high schools and they're sending ads specifically to these, geolocations where they know there's a bunch of fighting age people, children, to get them to sign up for the military. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, they do target the ones that, they know what they're doing. They know who they're targeting.
Yep.
And I don't know about a lawsuit. I mean, they I'm sure they cover their asses and make it impossible to sue the government because someone's kid died in a war, alleged war. But I don't know. I mean, the amount of money that the whole self-defense, generates for this country, like the armed forces if everybody got along all of a sudden, that would be pretty detrimental.
Absolutely. I mean, the military industrial complex only makes money if we're at war. So you have an entire industry that's dedicated to causing more wars so that they can make more money. It's absurd. There's that word again.
Do you think they'd have an easier time recruiting if they treated veterans better?
I think so. I do. I'll be honest. If I had been more aware of the treatment that, let's say, the Vietnam vets got when they came back, I would have definitely reconsidered going into the military. I don't think I would have done it, because you're sacrificing a lot of things, and I'm not even saying your life. I'm saying you give up a lot of things when you go into the military. That a life, a lot of freedoms and things, you have to give those up to go into the military, especially if you're going to a theater of war, and then you come back home to try and find some sort of normalcy in your life and you get shit on. I I probably wouldn't have gone if I had been more aware.
So a soldier makes between 14,000 and 100,000 a year.
Yeah, depending
And
on class.
yeah, that doesn't seem like enough for somebody who's putting their life on the line like that.
No, and there's a hell of a lot more E1s and E2s than there are E6s and 7s. And so, most of the people putting their lives on the line are E1s, 2s, and 3s. Crazy.
And what's the point if you never get to be able to use your GI Bill?
Well, there is none. I mean, it doesn't transfer to your family if you get killed.
That's fucked up.
Yep. Yes, it is.
That took a twist I didn't think we were going to go to. So I'm going to add that the pay scale to show docs there. But wouldn't that be a? If you want a career soldier, right? Wouldn't that be? You want to commit to somebody who's going to be there for 4, 6, 8, 10 years, right?
Yeah, yeah. To some degree, I think. I think some people they're glad to be rid of after 2 years.
Sure.
But yeah, a well-trained.
But get rid of him after 2 years.
Right. Then let him go. Yeah, exactly.
Why not pay him like Blackwater does?
Yeah, well, and that's what a lot of these guys do. Yeah, there's a whole can of worms you can open up.
I'm just saying that there's different ways to go about boosting your enrollment than picking on a bunch of kids.
Agreed.
That's my whole point. So
agreed. No, it's a valid point. I totally. So Hefe, how's the night going? Not to shift gears too much here, but that got to a dark place. And so how's the night going?
Pretty slow so far. But
now they do know that you're working tonight, right?
They do. And I get to go to craps and roulette next, so that's pretty fucking cool.
Speaking of slow.
Yeah.
But you do get to be a feather mucker.
I do. We do have one. We have one now, and I'm going to be mucking the shit out of those things.
You bet, man. You're the best mucker I ever met.
Hey guys, did you see the story for Jimmy G?
Oh yeah. It's a great story. Speaking of gambling in Vegas.
So Porn Stash Cash is going to have on the woman in Caitlin Bell.
Oh, nice.
They're going to have her on this week, and they're going to be talking to her about this. But Jimmy Garoppolo, who has only been in Las Vegas for a couple of weeks, he's got a 3-year deal for $67.5 million, and Caitlin Bell, one of the workers at the chicken ranch, has said that he has free sex for life.
Yeah, and just so you know, Jimmy G he's a quarterback. He plays for the NFL, and he got signed on for the Vegas Raiders. And so because he's coming to town, and they want him to I guess the Super Bowl is going to be in Vegas in 2024. They're going to give him all the sex he can handle to help the team win.
He's like super handsome too.
Oh, so I'd give him free sex for life. I totally am. I'm on board. I'm just saying that's like that. I don't know. That just seems like a conflict of interest, but I guess really it's not.
I totally see that too. I mean, you're a sex worker and you're going to give away, like, she doesn't say that she's a huge football fan.
No,
she just says that she's hot.
Yep.
I mean, maybe they're thinking, well, he'll tip or whatever. But I'm with you. It seems like a weird for free sex at a brothel.
And I also, McShane, you failed to mention the New York Post gave us some real gems this week, and this is one of them.
They killed it for us this week.
The New York Post is they're doing some hard hitting journalism here. One of which is this story. I don't know. It just for whatever reason it seems odd, but some of these athletes, I mean, they walk into a strip club and people know who they are. I'm sure they get free stuff all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
And so what's the difference,
Hey, can you guys think of a quarterback or any NFL player who has been this blessed? Because he hasn't done a whole lot. He was Brady's understudy. Then he went to San Francisco. I think he got to the playoffs once. He's made a ton of money, banged porn stars left and right, and now he's got a free subscription to the Chicken Ranch.
Well, so here's the thing. When you when you live a life like mine, you need somebody to bring the average up. And so he's bringing my average up. I didn't get any of those things. I didn't make the money. I didn't have all the porn stars. I wasn't even that good of an athlete. So he's bringing the average up for all of us. Good for him. Yeah, and I mean, it's like John Hamm. Yes, he's handsome. He's a talented actor, and then he starts walking around in khakis, and you see this fucking baby's arm hanging down between his legs, and you're like, Jesus, you also have a giant cock? I mean, he's completely flaccid, and it's huge. It's gigantic, and I'm like, oh, this poor guy. It got everything.
The mental anguish.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why
everything
I went there, but you know what they don't have. What they don't have. None of these guys have Whiskey Hell podcast, so fuck them all.
Although
very true.
It's an open invitation to them if they do want to come out.
Yes, absolutely. If you want to come on, please come on. I would love to talk to you. Please
bring friends.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna tweet to Jimmy G right now. Let's see here.
Oh, that's a good call.
Let's see here. What's his Twitter?
Jimmy... Oh, I'm gonna say at pornfucker. I don't know.
Giant cock Jimmy at. Let me check this here.
Forward the Chicken Ranch.
Yeah. Panty Raider. I don't know.
Oh, I like that.
Yep, that's him. All right, so we got
there.
This.
It is. There it
Panty
is.
Raider.
What's that?
Panty Raider. That's him.
Oh
no. It's Jimmy G _10.
10. Yeah.
You come on. Wait, I should spell it COME, not CUM.
Yes. Yeah, I don't want him to think that we're gonna. I mean, again, the invitation's open. He could definitely. He has free sex here. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What do I want to ask him though?
And talk about all the poon. No, you can't call it that anymore, I guess. There you go. All the sex at the Chicken Ranch. Excellent.
All right, DM us, please. Okay. All right.
Done. Tweet it. All right.
It's
out in the universe.
Sent. All right. There we go. I will follow Jimmy, and we'll see what we can do for our listeners. Of course, that's the main reason why we're doing this.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Not because we want to know all the porn stars that he's been.
No, not our own personal curiosity. Yeah. This is for the fans.
Exactly.
It reminds me of that actor that was in Singles.
Oh yeah.
Guy who gets in the car accident. No. He was in. What else was he in? He was in The Spanish Prisoner, but I don't think anybody else knows that movie besides me.
Hold on, I'm efforting.
Yeah, I don't know that one. I don't think I ever saw Singles.
Or
I might have, just not.
Oh my God! See, I put in Singles cast, and they're showing current pictures of all these people, so I have no fucking idea.
Well, it's IMDb it. That's a great site.
Not Jeremy Piven.
No,
that's right. That really.
Tim Burton was in Singles.
Really?
Yeah, he played someone called Brian.
Was it the Tim Burton?
It looks like him.
Yeah, I don't know. Campbell Scott.
That sounds like it might be him.
Bill Pullman was in it.
Yeah, Bill Pullman. I remember him in it. I remember Bridget Fonda. I had a crush on her for a bit. Matt Dillon.
Eric
Yeah,
Stoltz
I don't know.
was in there. That was
Oh,
a hell
you're
of a
welcome for that.
cast.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I always say good movie, great soundtrack.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah, it was
absolutely.
a great soundtrack. All right, we'll
see
see
you
you in a
guys
bit.
All right, man. Later.
Hey Fitz, we are way over for that second beer.
Oh yeah, no, my conjugal
ready?
visit was over about 20 minutes ago.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It was worth it. I'm not sure I'd get it again. That's my honest feedback right now. So there's that.
I'm kind of with you on that, but I don't go back to sours very often. I did enjoy
True.
this one, but it's also putting me kind of in a mood of I don't know if I want another sour tonight.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to go down and see what I got. So we'll see.
Yeah, well, I like it. Wild card. That could be fun.
Yeah, we'll see what it goes. All right, let's grab the second one.
All right. Be back in a few.
All right, so beer 2. Fitz, I know I said I was going to go another sour, but that last sour, not that it was awful, but it did kind of kill my desire to have another one.
Sure.
So I'm going to switch it up, but I decided to go ahead and go, oddly enough, it's another brewery from Miami. This is Unseen Creatures. Never had any of their stuff before.
Okay.
This is a...
Very cool, whatever that is, logo.
Yeah, it looks like they've
that,
got
the owl
a
with
great
the
horned...
horns.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I don't know if they're going to have... Let's see here. They do have their beers. Oh, good. Okay. I'm having the Child. Now...
That sounds a little strange.
Yeah, let me preface that. That's a beer. Okay. That's
Excellent.
nothing else. There.
Much better. Much better.
We got,
Yep.
In today's day and age, you can't communicate clearly enough.
Yeah.
This is a India Pale Ale, a little IPA action, 7%. And I'm hoping it's going to be a hazy. We will see. It is a New England, so that's what I'm thinking it's going to end up being.
Yep.
Never had these guys, though. This is their rendition of it here, though, is this Juice Bomb hopped with Citra and Idaho 7 burst with melon and tons of tropical fruit flavors.
Fun.
So let's give it a run. It is a hazy, has a little bit of a pink hue to it, though. It smells good. Not super hoppy, not super, really big head, though. Oh boy. I'm gonna have to let that go down.
Is it one of those heads that keeps growing the more you look at it? Or wait, never mind. That's not that's not what you meant.
That's yours. Yeah.
Oh, right.
But yeah, so I'm gonna wait for the head to go down here for a little bit. But these guys are out of Miami. Pretty diverse selection.
Yeah,
Not
it
a
looks like
ton
that's
of
what I was
different
looking
ones.
at too. Pretty diverse.
Yeah. When I purchased it though, they're like, "You sure you want these, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, just give them to me." Because these beers they're $10 a piece. I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine. Just go ahead and give it to me. I already had it up there, so whatever. Just let me go ahead and go for it." So, it's a little pricey for an IPA for me. I'm not a big IPA guy, as everybody knows. So.
Yeah, especially for like just a 7%er. Usually, if you're gonna pay $10 for a beer, it's gonna be 10+%.
Hoppy, not too bitter, dry finish. Mouth feels a lot of carbonation. It is I'm not getting the fruity tones.
Okay. the melons and all that they were talking about.
Yeah, none of the tropical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good beer though. I'm not going to pay $10 for it again. But I will say it's a good IPA though. It's a good IPA.
All right, I can dig it.
What do you have over there?
Well, I went big. I went with a big one. It's been a while since I've had, something that's right in that sweet spot for me where I couldn't wait to open this beer. This is from Great Notion.
Oh, okay.
And they're a newer brewery to me.
Yep.
I'm trying to see where they're out of Portland. So I don't think they've been around real long. But I have seen their stuff before in the stores, and I want to say this is the first Imperial Stout I've seen from them. So this is the Mamut, MAMUT XL. It is a 11.8% Imperial Stout, so it's a big one. It's a blend of bourbon barrel aged and Imperial Stouts with cocoa nibs, cinnamon, and then other natural flavors. So, I kind of like their artwork. All their artwork on their cans is kind of the same, kind of on par. This one's got a giant woolly mammoth on it with a bunch of pancakes and.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm guessing, are those candy necklaces or are they just Mardi Gras beads? I don't know. Anyway, so it's a big beer, but I love the chocolate beers with some cinnamon in them, and especially when they're Imperial. So let's see what we got here.
So we get a ton of Great Notions out here. I mean, a lot. I could go into any one of the places that I frequent, and they have tons in there. In my experience, they're solid beers.
This is on par with that. This is a very solid beer. A little bit of nuttiness up front. Really slick, thick, viscous mouthfeel. Heavy mouthfeel. Okay. Almost like almost like you got the pancakes and syrup thing going on. So it's kind of nutty up front, but then that chocolate and cinnamon hits at the back end. Oh, this is this one might be in that first category where our souls may touch on this one. I may penetrate deep enough that I'm gonna find this one's soul. This is good beer. Wow.
Mardi Gras may be over, but Mamut XL will keep the good times rolling. Mamut XL is an imperial pastry stout blended with stout aged in bourbon barrels. Mamut XL is still treated with the familiar flavors of cocoa nibs, marshmallow, cinnamon, and vanilla, just like the regular Mamut, but with an added kick. That's awesome. And that's a pastry stout. And it's 11.8.
It is, which means they let that bitch sit for a while. They just let it cook in those bourbon barrels.
Good for you.
Wow. Yeah. Solid beer. I'm really very pleased with this. I think I already know who I'm taking to bed.
All right. That's good.
Oof.
That's good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it is good.
All right. Can we talk about the rioting in Chicago? Just real quick, just briefly.
Yes, let's put this in context with we're going to talk about Chicago tonight, but this very similar scenes in Miami a few weeks ago during spring break, and then also in Baltimore, a very similar scene happened. So this isn't just a Chicago isolated incident. This is kind of happening other places. So go ahead.
So the bat signal apparently went out in Chicago, and a bunch of kids got together. They posted it online, went downtown, and just started destroying stuff. Buildings, fighting,
including
going after tourists, fighting each other, ransacking buildings, businesses, just disgusting. I don't know that this was as disgusting as the response from the mayor-elect.
Yeah, because you had, basically gangs of kids running around and terrorizing people, jumping on city buses and, like you said, looting businesses, scaring tourists, beating each other up, assaulting, people on the streets. and our brand new fearless mayor Lightfoot's out. So the new guy, what's his name?
Brandon Johnson.
Okay, great, perfect, easy to remember. Brandon Dick. He comes out. This is his statement. Go ahead.
In no way do I condone the destructive activity we saw in the Loop and Lakefront this weekend. It is unacceptable and has no place in our city. However, it is not constructive to demonize youth who have otherwise been starved of opportunities. Being starved of opportunities does not lead to you being a dick.
No.
You make bad choices. It's not an excuse. I'm sorry. Everybody wants to make excuses for people being assholes. Your kids are being assholes. Where are the parents?
Yep. Where are the cops?
Where are the cops? Why aren't these kids being taken into juvie?
Or at
put
least
them in jail overnight.
Scared out of them. Yeah, exactly. Have the
put them in jail overnight.
Put them in cuffs. Have them separated, boys and girls, and I mean, give them read them the riot act. What the hell?
I don't understand. And honestly, this led to another conversation we had because this is happening in our major cities, and that's why I think that the first 15-minute cities are going to be Chicago, Portland, and San Francisco. And with the news that came out this week about San Francisco going ahead and putting out the National Guard to be able to deal with the drug abuse in, I think it's the Timberline area, that's where this starts.
Yep.
I think the underlying narrative is let our major cities fall apart until they have to act out and do something major. I think that's what's coming.
I 100% fully agree with that. And I actually hope that you and I are both wrong. Because you're talking about what used to be three really cool cities. I mean, especially San Fran. That's just always been close to my heart. I love San Francisco.
They're iconic.
They are iconic. But I'll be honest, the last time I went to San Francisco, I was not impressed by that city. And at one point actually almost felt unsafe. So, not good. And if you're going to, as McShane very correctly pointed out, if you're going to make excuses because these kids didn't have opportunities, so you're telling me that all of these kids are poor. That's basically what he's trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. I know for a fact McShane grew up poor. I know I grew up poor. This is not what we did. We found other ways to entertain ourselves. We did other things. I don't buy it. I'm not going to buy it. You're like McShane said, your kids are being assholes.
I don't understand what the fuck happened to Chicago and San Francisco for that matter. And it's easy to look at Lightfoot, Gavin Newsom. It's just ridiculous. What do you, along those lines, what are your thoughts on the National Guard being called into San Francisco?
I think that's actually a really dangerous threshold to admit that you're crossing. Because, and again, it goes back to that whole, problem, reaction, solution narrative that we've been hearing a lot. You created this problem by, number one, legalizing all drugs. Number two, again, let's go back to, defund the police. And I don't want to get into that debate, but I'm saying every action has a consequence. And one of the consequences to defunding the police, quote unquote, is what we're seeing here. So you legalize drugs, you take away people on the streets that are there to keep the peace, the order. And now your solution is to bring out soldiers. So defund the police, but let's fund the military. I think it's a very, very tough and dangerous line to cross. And Newsom is crossing it because he can't get a hold of the problem. And the mayor of San Francisco doesn't know what to do and can't get a hold of the problem. Now, if you recall, for those of you who've been around, McShane and I covered, I think it was in December. I could be wrong, but November, December of last year of 2022, we covered a story that San Francisco was going to lose like 650 police officers because of defunding. And or they were still being forced to take a vaccine that they didn't want. So you're going to take 650 people off the streets. That's going to cause problems. But now we're going to put those people back on the streets. But now instead of being armed with a taser and a pistol and some handcuffs, they're going to be armed with, heavy military equipment and flak jackets. And I'm just not sure how we can justify that trade-off as being a positive. I think this is a negative.
And there's no community policing now, right?
Right.
Because, and again, they may just come in and do logistics. That might be it. But if you have an armed fighting force coming in that is the California National Guard, it's not personal anymore. You're not protecting your streets.
Fuck no.
You're protecting streets, and you have a mission to make sure those streets. The community part's gone.
Yeah,
which
some of these
matches the rest of California. It's not a very community-based place.
No. I mean, the whole concept behind a police force is that you have people who live in the city that they work in. And so they care about the communities. They know people in the communities. These National Guardsmen may or may not be from San Francisco. They could be from anywhere. What the fuck do they care? And I also think you're right. Maybe it's just logistics. That's still
Scary.
To put out the news story that we are calling in the National Guard. I mean, the next step, your only next step now is martial law.
That's where we're at, right?
Right? You can't step it up any other way. The next step is martial law. And that right there, that would be that should make all of you shiver. And we should all stop and take pause. If we get to that step where they're actually declaring martial law in an American city because of a drug problem that we let happen. Then you have to ask yourself, what was the end goal? Martial law? I mean, that's tough. That's tough.
So if you wanted to go ahead and make San Francisco into a 15-minute city, it wouldn't be that hard.
Oh, easily, because it's out on that peninsula.
So it's out on the peninsula.
Yeah.
You've got you already have different areas, right? You've got Chinatown. You've got what the hell is the
you got Daly City. You got Pacifica.
Yep.
You got San Francisco downtown, and then right across the bay you got Oakland. How easy would it be to set up a checkpoint across, the Bay Bridge, the Golden Gate, and now what? Now people can't even freely go to and from.
But you'd sure crack down on things. Sorry, Daly City's locked down tonight.
Yep.
It's scary stuff. I think when you look at other areas, it gets a little bit difficult. But logistically, I can totally see this because, like you said, it's out on the peninsula. You could pretty much lock down, going out to San Jose. I don't think it'd be hard at all. Unfortunately, I mean,
unfortunately is right. Yeah.
So, you guys voted for Gavin.
Yeah, and people are that's the other thing that I keep hearing his name being brought up as a possible presidential candidate.
God, kill me.
But of course, Biden, he's going to rerun. He's going to run again unless something happens to him in the next, 6 months. But still, Newsom is up there in the conversation for the Democratic National Party. And I would like to see his track record. I would like somebody who's a pro Newsom person to lay down a sheet in front of me that gives me all of his accomplishments. What has he done? Positive accomplishment. Not letting a great city like San Francisco go to shit. I mean, like positive stuff. What's he done? I'd like to know.
I couldn't tell you.
I couldn't either. Yikes.
So, a lot happened with Elon this week.
Yeah, he seems to be a very, very public figure. Whether or not he's doing that on purpose, I don't know. But I mean, every time you turn around, and I know a big part of it is he bought Twitter, but this one is not even about Twitter. It's got nothing to do with Twitter. Although I feel like the fact that he bought Twitter played into how this news story played out.
Oh, I think you're absolutely right. So this week, Starship, which is a massive, massive undertaking. I mean, this is the biggest rocket that we've ever seen. And you guys can go to whiskeyhellpod.com and look. I went and I threw up a quick blog post about all the shit that happened this week.
Yeah, great blog post. Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done.
So Starship, you can just hear the rockets on this thing. So the idea of this rocket, it's 394 feet tall. That's 40 stories. It weighs over 5,000 tons. That's 11 million pounds. It is absolutely massive. And the whole point of it is to be able to not only get cargo off the planet, but to be able to get people and cargo to Mars. So it has to be huge. Now, the flight didn't work. I mean, it actually, I should.
That's not true.
Let me preface it this way.
Yeah.
The flight worked. It was a great flight. Lasted 4 minutes. There was a problem with the separation. That's when Starship failed. That's when it fell apart. It was not a failure by any means. But the vitriol and the absolute hate that came out this week against or just making fun of everybody who is, and I know people wanted to go and direct that at Elon, but you're actually mocking NASA, all the science, our space effort. It has very little to do with Elon other than that it's his company that's working with NASA to put us on Mars.
People are acting like he was mission control. He had nothing to do with this other than, hey, I want to make this happen. This is my company. Let's do it. Here's the money. He wasn't mission control. Anything that failed had nothing to do with Elon Musk. Yikes.
And it wasn't a failure. It wasn't. Nothing about it was a failure. Yes, it blew up. It didn't get into orbit. Okay. But that wasn't the biggest thing about that launch, was that they were able to get this massive beast off the Earth. And that was a huge step. I mean, that basically said that you can get a rocket that size and you have a chance to go and put somebody on Mars. That's what that said. And nobody's embracing that piece.
It's a huge undertaking. I think people think that, getting to the moon was easy, or that hey, we got to the moon. What's the big deal going to Mars? That just shows how little you really know about the physics of this, about the distances involved, about the toll that a journey like that would take on the human body, let alone all the supplies you got to bring up there with you. And listen, that the debate ever since NASA was created, the debate has raged. Why does NASA need such a big budget? What good are they doing to society? And the backlash to that, the answer to that is that because it's a new problem they're having to solve, they're coming up with new solutions that actually have practical benefits to those of us down here on Earth that we get to use. And I'm telling you, most of the stuff that the technology that has allowed us to make this podcast and put it out to all of you was based on stuff that happened at NASA 60 years ago. So we're not, this isn't just about, well, let's, I climbed the mountain because it was there. No, this is about pushing the human technology, the human spirit, the human body to its furthest limits and seeing if we can. And listen, for those of you who have never played sports, for those of you who have never had any real challenges in your life, let me tell you from this grizzled old man, if you go out on a sports field and you play well and you win, all you know is what you did right. That's all you know. But if you go out there and you get trashed and you lose, man, you got a lot more learning to do. And you learn a lot more from a loss than you do from a win. If think about it, if every time you got out of bed and everything that you wanted in that day just happened the way you wanted it to happen with zero effort, just boom, just there. Why would you, you wouldn't try at anything. You would just be like, well, that was a good day. That'll just keep happening. And that's not life. Life is a series of losses. It's a series of, whoops, I shouldn't have done that. Better learn from that. Yeah, let's try again. And so this, to me, I see something like this, and I thought it was brilliant in your blog post that you listed out all the rocket failures that NASA had through the Voyager series, the I forget, the Mercury series. There were a lot of failures, but you learn from every one of them. Every single time you lose a rocket, every time you lose a Columbia, you learn from it and you say, okay, we can never let this happen again. That's a disaster. It was a lot of money. It was a lot of manpower. Sometimes we lose, human life. So we redouble our efforts and we make sure it doesn't happen again. And then we've just made a technological step up. And that's all this was. And it certainly had nothing to do with Elon either way. I just find that so ridiculous that people, God, they just want to see. They want to see him fail. That's what it is. Yep. And he did. So boom.
My favorite thing from this week has been all the fallout from the blue check marks being removed.
Watching people lose their ever-loving minds. It's been great.
So on 4/20, April 20th, because he's got a sense of humor, Elon and Twitter, and I am going to say Elon because he planned it this way.
Oh yeah,
the guy's an expert troll. He's. I mean, I like to think that we're pretty decent, and we're not even in the conversation with the level of trolling that he does. So they took away all the legacy check marks. Now for everybody out there, the check marks that was basically Twitter's way of saying I verified you and I know that you're you, right? So now that they've changed the check marks and given some other abilities to that check mark, they've said no, we'll still go ahead and let you have the check mark, but you got to pay for it. So we have it on our account, and I do that because I need to be able to go back and pull some things if I find that I either I need to edit something, or if I want to do a long post, or we want to go ahead and post something that's a little bit different. We've got the ability to do that.
Yeah.
I find it valuable. You find it valuable. It's something we want to use. So it's a tool. But all of these celebrities losing their shit is absolutely amazing. It's phenomenal. Bette Midler.
It's people who literally are worth millions of dollars. I mean, if you're a celebrity, then that means a lot of people know who you are, which means a lot of people, you're making money off of a lot of people. And they won't pay the $8. $8. They'll spend money on jewelry. They'll spend money on their cars, their homes. I mean, all these other things, but he takes away a check mark that might cost them $8 to replace, and they're fucking losing their minds. And it's a beautiful thing to see how shallow and how ridiculous these people are. Bette Midler that's a great example. I think she really sums up everybody else in her absurdity, her ridiculousness.
I'm trying to find the Bette Midler.
Yeah, I mean, it was something like, after all this free content, he takes away my blue check mark, something like that. I was like, what are you talking about?
Here we go.
And you know what's, go ahead.
Elon took my blue check mark away. I'm verified. After all these years and thousands of tweets and free content, this worm has the nerve to decertify me.
Pay the $8, you yenta. What's the big deal?
I
mean, and you know what's what's been great is Elon. Yes, he trolled a bunch of people by doing this, but now as they're losing their shit, he's trolling them even more. I saw one. I don't remember who it was, but he was like, "Hey, on behalf of Twitter, we're gonna go ahead and gift you a blue check mark on our behalf." But then below his little statement, he put a picture of a baby crying with like food all over its face.
Yes.
Like, you fucking crybaby. We're gonna give you your blue check mark back, but you're a fucking crybaby. And I was like, good for you, dude.
So Stephen King threw a fit the other day, and then all of a sudden, what happens? Musk just inadvertently slaps him with another blue check mark. And this is what his response was. I think Mr. Musk should give my blue check to charity. I recommend the Pratula Foundation, which provides life-saving services in Ukraine. It's only $8, so perhaps Mr. Musk could add a bit more. And that's after him throwing a fit about and having to go out of his way to say that I didn't pay for this. It wasn't me. I didn't do this. That's Stephen fucking King.
I know. These people are.
Well, here it is. My Twitter account says I've subscribed to Twitter Blue. I haven't. My Twitter account says I've given a phone number. I haven't. Stephen King.
Yeah, you know what's clear with something like this, and I think we've been seeing it more and more often. And this goes back to, kind of the breaking story with the Hunter Biden laptop and the CIA being involved and all that. But the truth is, like, it's bubbling to the surface, whether these people want it to or not. And the truth about these celebrities is they're caught in their own little bubble of reinforcement that we all kind of had to go through back in 2020, that you realize, oh my gosh, these algorithms are set up to just reinforce what I already think. We all went through that. And we came out the other end going, shit, I need to have an open mind for all things now because I don't know what's true. But these people are still stuck in it. And it's like this masturbation ring of like, hey, if you jerk me off, I'll jerk you off. And you don't realize that really you're having, hand job sex with each other, but it just keeps reinforcing the positivity. And then boom, Elon takes your blue check mark away and you go, oh my God, this is just surreal to me. And it's like, hold on. The rest of us are out here working our asses off at jobs and paying the $8 a month so we can have some validity and actually know that we are who we say we are when we get on there and say something stupid. But they're lost in their little la la land, and they just think that everything should just be, it should just go their way. It should be aligned with their beliefs because they're of course correct because they're richer than all of us, which means they must know more. And and all that and that veil is being lifted, and the rest of us are going, dude, you're a fucking clown. Stephen King, you might write some amazing stories, but they're just stories. Dude, your politics are fucked. You need to get out of your bubble. And I will say that straight to Stephen King. In fact, on Twitter, I've been trying to bait him, and he will not take the bait. I've been trying to call him out on some stuff. Yeah. Because he's just taken CNN blindly. He's taken the White House press statement blindly and just like, oh, that's fact. And I've been trying to bait him, but he won't take the bait. But we'll see. You guys will all be the first to know if he does, because that's going to be a great day for me.
You need to take on Alyssa Milano, because check this out.
Oh,
so by revoking, that's a new word. So by revoking my blue check mark, because I wouldn't pay some arbitrary fee, someone can just be me and say a bunch of bullshit. Does that mean Twitter and Elon Musk are liable for defamation or identity theft or fraud?
Wow.
What a twat. And look what she got. He gave her a blue check mark.
Yeah.
Here's your pacifier. Shut the fuck up.
Who was it that said that people's lives were going to be at stake? That people were going to lose their lives because of the blue check mark?
I fell for that one. That was actually a master troll.
Okay.
I didn't find out until the next day, but yeah, it was awesome because this person pretended to be a reporter, and it's honestly one of the biggest outcries has been from reporters. So this person was pretending to be a reporter, and said that, yeah, this was going to lead to death threats and a lot of unsafe situations. It was really, really good. And it got me to respond back with, something stupid and trollish, but I totally fell for that one too. But it was
Yeah,
fantastic.
no, I mean, good for them. You got me. And also it just shows how absurd things were getting, that we were willing to believe that someone would think people's lives are going to be lost. I will say, I mean, after all of this, Alyssa Milano was hot as fuck back in the day.
What was the show that she was? Oh, Charmed. Wasn't she on Charmed?
She was on Charmed. I heard that was one of the worst sets to ever work on, because you had what's her name from 90210, and then you had Alyssa Milano. The third girl was kind of sweet, but the other two were just almost unbearable as far as the demands they put on people and just the bitchiness. Yeah. And they were just terrible to people. That's what I heard. I can't vouch for that. I'm just saying.
So
it was a toxic set.
Yeah, I mean, you had Shannon Doherty.
Yeah, that's who, Shannon Doherty. Yep.
Yeah, we know she's just a twat.
Yeah.
And then Alyssa Milano, she wasn't that much better. The one that I had a crush on was Piper, Holly Marie Combs.
Yes, that's she was the one that was sweet.
All right. Damn, we have so much more to get into, and I think there's a couple of really big things that I still want to touch on.
Yeah, I think let's do fast fire so we can just quickly get through some of the big stuff, because I just have this weird feeling in my right elbow. I don't know why it's always my right elbow, but I get this itch. I think it's going to be a big week in the news coming up. I mean, they've been big weeks, but I just think some big stuff's going to drop this week. So let's get through what we have so that we can kind of set up what might happen next week.
All right. Biden to hike payments for good credit home buyers to subsidize high-risk mortgages. So, just to summarize this article, the Biden administration is going to make people who have over a 680 credit score pay about $40,000 more for their homes.
Yeah, it's a 1.75% hike in their rate.
But if you're a challenge, if you're credit challenged, you're going to go ahead and get basically anybody who I'm just going to say it. Fuck. Anybody over a 680 credit score is subsidizing anybody who has an under 680 credit score. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
Yeah, under 560, I think was the threshold.
Is it 560? Okay.
Yeah, that's where they get the 1% bump. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it really quickly. This is a exact Xerox copy, except the name at the top is different. But this is an exact Xerox copy of what happened in 2008. We are literally doing exactly what caused the crash in 2008 again, because poor people are going to be able to buy homes they can't afford. They're going to lose their payments, and then the banks are just going to own their homes, and the poor people are fucked. It's going to look really good. And the Biden administration is doing this for votes. Let's not beat around the bush. They're doing it for votes, period. And then these people are going to get in these homes they can't afford. They're going to find out that very quickly. Then all of a sudden they're fucked. They can't afford the home. And now the bank or BlackRock or State Street or any of those big firms, they're all going to, now they own the home. It's just a way to get more homes into the power of these huge firms and out of, poor people's hands. It's asinine. This is by far the most blatant and obvious scam to fuck the middle class, the people who are actually paying their bills on time. I mean, some of the threads, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you've seen them too, McShane. People are like, well, I plan on buying a house in December, so I'm going to stop paying my bills for the next 6 months. Fuck them.
Might as well.
Why not?
Drag your credit down, get a better deal.
Hell yeah. Get a better deal, and then you can work your credit back up.
And if you're going to put down 10 or 20 grand on a house, which must be nice, if you're going to put down 10 or 20 grand, you're going to get dinged too.
Yep.
So rather than rewarding that, and then coming up with a way of supporting and encouraging people to buy homes. You're going to fuck anybody who does make any money and pays on time. And then you're going to go ahead and it's just,
dude, I'll be honest.
Anybody puts up with this fucking joker? I know.
That's what I'm saying. How is he not? Anyway, I mean, just on a personal note, there is no way my wife and I would have been able to buy this house if these rules had been in place when we bought it, because we were able to, by the grace of God, we were able to put down a significant amount of money down on this house, which is the only way we can afford the monthly payments. We would have gotten penalized for that. Plus our credit scores were good. So we would have gotten double penalized. I wouldn't be in this house. I would be in a much smaller house that would make me sad and depressed. It is lunacy. This is lunacy to the highest degree. It is all the things that we said would never happen again back in 05 to 08. And we're just doing it again. And who suffers? Who suffers? Next story, Jesus.
Well, John Fetterman's not suffering because he is back, baby. I can't get away with going to work wearing basketball shorts, tennis shoes, and a hoodie. Why the fuck does he?
What? He's in Congress. Can you imagine like past senators from like the 1800s or whatever that actually took the job seriously and showed up in a fucking 3-piece suit with a very expensive pocket watch and their finest hat because they were going in to represent the people of their district and they wanted to make an impression? They are rolling over in their graves right now because this dipshit is showing up, like you said, in basketball shorts, tennies, and a fucking hoodie. I mean, I particularly enjoyed the 420 day though. His 420 day was awesome. My God. Yeah. The fucking flag he held up. If I know one of my buddies, somebody I know and like and respect is coming over to my house, I dress up more than he does to go to Congress. I take off my hoodie. I put on an actual fucking shirt. I put on some deodorant. I take the basketball shorts off. I put on some jeans. And what's up, dude? Let's have dinner.
You put in effort?
Jesus Christ. I cannot believe that this is passing for a U.S. senator. Other countries must be looking and going, my God. They actually think that they're a functioning government.
Well, they've got to be looking at us and going, this is the best reality TV ever.
Right? This is the Real Housewives of the United States. That's what it is.
We've got some heavier stuff that I kind of feel like we need to hold over.
Okay. Can we quickly touch on the absurd idea that New Zealand came up with?
Oh fuck. Yeah, let's do that. Let's also do. All right, we're gonna do that, and then we'll do war on meat, and then I know you've got you want to get to some weather news that's coming.
Yeah, so. Quickly some weather stuff, but yes, yep.
All right. So it's okay. The idea to have children's cat killing contest was axed following backlash in New Zealand. It's not going to happen. We're okay. Shout out to Tabs for making sure that I didn't want to have the cat killing contest. No.
Thanks for keeping our moral compass.
I had a good laugh at it.
Pointing north. Yeah, that's great.
I mean, apparently they've got a massive problem with feral cats.
Feral cats, yes, they do.
But they were going to award. Organizers on Saturday had announced a new junior category for children under 14 in the annual competition. So this is still a thing. They're just not going to have the kids do it. Okay, the kids, $150. That was what you're going to win. That was your top prize. What the fuck is wrong with you, New Zealand?
Seriously, I know they're a different breed over there. The Australians and New Zealanders, they're cut from a different cloth. I get that. I mean, they have to do battle with kangaroos, for God's sakes. But I don't know. I guess maybe it's cheaper to just shoot something and kill it than it is to like neuter it or make it, a pansexual. I mean, can't we like somehow get them to believe that they're transgender and then they won't have sex with each other and then there's no more cats the next generation? Like, is that so hard? We're doing it to our kids. I can't believe it's that hard to do to cats.
Wow. You win the show. You just went freaking deep.
For absurdity? Oh my God.
Oh,
anyway,
we treat our feral cats, but never mind.
Yeah, exactly. And on that, and let's not go into the story, but please, all of you, I want you to go to the show notes and look up the story about the tongue through the glass licking that happened at a high school in I think it was Seattle, somewhere up in Washington.
Let's go to it.
Are you sure?
Let's do it. Let's do
all
that
right.
one instead of the war on meat. All right.
Or the UK are banning knives.
This was
that was also a good one.
It was a great week for news.
Yeah.
April 16th. This is 770 KTTH. Middle school hosted disturbing licking game with staff and students. The staff and students would run up to a plexiglass window and then I can't get through it.
Okay. I mean, okay. 2 plexiglass panes were stationed in the middle of the gymnasium, and each side of the glass had 4 spots of a marshmallow cream. Students and staff then competed to lick off the plexiglass, often with adult educators and their minor students licking their respective sides of the glass at once. Students in the crowd could be heard screaming, "Ew, disgusting, that's so gross, and what the heck?" One student yelled, "Who thought this was a good idea?" And I think that sums up the whole fucking article. I mean, you even have one guy, that one picture, he's got his hand on the lower end small of this girl's back. And I'm sorry. In today's day and age, no, not appropriate.
I can't tell if that's a teacher, if that's a student, or what.
Dude, that's a teacher. He has gray hair, dude. Look at that.
No. I know he's definitely some kind of. Yeah, I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about her. I mean.
Okay. Either way.
But the video. The video is. I mean, they are seriously going to town on this glass. Like they are licking. Like I've seen porn with less licking than what I'm seeing here.
Oh yeah, no, and it gets, I'm not going to say sexual, but it gets vigorous. It's definitely vigorous licking, and they're on other sides of the glass from each other, staring in each other's eyes as they're licking like this.
I just don't know how it. I mean, when we were in high school, they did stupid shit for pep assemblies, but nobody ever did stuff like this. And granted, somebody thought this would be fun, right? Somebody thought this, hey, we're just going to be silly and goof off. But when you have so much shit happening in schools, whether it's gunplay or it's sexual things happening, teacher misconduct, students beating up teachers, I look forward to like some professionalism, and that's not what this was.
God, that's a great call right there. Where's the P word? It's gone. It's gone.
All right.
Yeah. All right. I mean, and yeah, so check out show notes because there's still some other gems in here that we didn't get to tonight. I just want to briefly mention, we've been in a El Nino weather pattern. And for those of you who don't know, I'll put it as quickly and simply as I can. Basically, the trade winds in an El Nino, which are, winds that kind of go across the grain so that we could, ships could sail across sort of the currents and the normal winds out in the open ocean. The trade winds actually go from east to west, and they blow from like the west coast of the United States towards Asia. So an El Nino year is when those winds are particularly high. And what that means for all of us is, here in the Pacific Northwest, it's usually wetter and warmer. And on the East Coast of the United States and in the Gulf, they get way more hurricanes. The hurricanes increase and the hurricane intensity increases. But then there's like this middle ground where it's sort of a transitionary period, and the winds are what we expect them to be. And then we transition into El Nino, which is when the winds they don't reverse, but they lessen. And there's much more of a force of wind coming from the east coast of Asia towards the west coast of America, which makes the jet stream raise up higher to the north, or no, I'm sorry, it drops from higher in the north to lower. And so you get less frequent hurricanes, which is good news. You get warmer weather for like the top third of the United States and Canada, which is actually kind of good news. But severe weather kind of kicks up. You get more severe weather incidents in places like California, where we grow a lot of food, in places like the Midwest, where we grow a lot of food. So you couple that, the fact that we're heading into an El Nino year, and actually there's some models that predict a super El Nino year, which is kind of really bad, because then you're going to flood areas that yes, they need rain for crops, but when you flood them, the crops don't grow. You couple that with the fact that we had really bad avian flu this winter, which means this spring, the insect population is like, well, one graph that I saw said it's 50% higher than usual. And another graph said, actually, it's 75% higher than normal, because there just aren't the birds to eat the bugs. So insects, what do they eat? They eat crops. So we have the potential set up here for some kind of tricky food situations coming up this summer into next winter. So I'm not saying, the probabilities on these things are never 100%. Hell, they're not even over 80%. But I am saying, if you were a thinking person, a smart person, somebody who's looking ahead, you might want to, have some grains and things that are around the house that aren't going to go bad, that you just have for the winter, and just in case, stock up. I'm not saying be a prepper, but I'm saying have some food on hand, because it could get dicey. And you couple that with inflation too, right? It could just, what a loaf of bread is costing you today, it could be 2 or 3 times higher than that, come October, November. So just prepare for all of that. And I just thought it was an interesting thing. You don't see anything. All of a sudden there's like 4 videos where everyone's like, hey, we just switched into like a super El Nino pattern, and it's kind of scary. And so then I start doing a deep dive going, okay, what's this going to mean? And the consequences are pretty major if it does happen. So, and then the other thing I want to talk about briefly, and by the time the show comes out, it will have already happened, but still interesting and fascinating. Basically a ribbon of solar material flared and peeled off the sun and is heading right towards us. It's a CME, a coronal mass ejection. It's not going to be anything that causes any technological disruptions, but it might cause minor health problems, like people with MS, people with migraines, people with mental instability. Monday and Tuesday might be rough days, because it's scheduled to hit late Sunday night, early Monday morning. You might have a rough couple of days there, just because there's a lot of extra energy coming into our atmosphere, which then piles down to the surface. And, you don't always have our bodies don't always react to that well. But I will say, if you have a chance to go on YouTube and look up, Ben, which the channel's name is Suspicious Observers, and watch his video. He's got great video of this thing peeling off the sun. And it's gorgeous, but it's also frightening when you start to sort of take into account, the scale of the Earth compared to how big this thing was when it launched off the sun. And it's a full halo, which means the cameras that we have that face the sun, if it's a partial halo, that means part of the ejecta is going off to one side or the other, either behind us or in front of us. It's not going to hit us. This one was full halo, which means it's coming, kind of right at us. If you picture just like a blower, and it's blowing all the leaves right at you, That's kind of what we saw in this one. This was a full Halo event, but again, it's not going to raise the KP index, which is just a technical way to say it's not going to be that big of a deal as far as our technological. We might see some northern lights pretty far south again, which could be cool. So look out for that. Probably in the northern third of the United States, you could see some aurora borealis late tomorrow night, which as they're at the recording of this show would be Sunday night. So by the time the show comes out, you'll probably have missed it, but some good stuff. So anyway, those were the two pieces I wanted to make sure I got out there. Interesting stuff. I think the weather issue, I mean, we'll know a lot more by May or June, what's going to happen as far as El Nino, how bad it's going to be. But I will say there's a good chance it's going to impact our food supply. So yay, be ready for that.
Act accordingly.
Act accordingly. Exactly. Act accordingly. Be ready. And you know what? The good thing about buying extra food is, okay, it didn't happen. Fitz was wrong. What an idiot. And now we just have some food we need to eat up and get through. No big deal. No harm, no foul. But if it does happen, you're going to be really glad that you had a month, 2 months worth of food on hand to supplement what you can't get at the store right now.
Good stuff.
Yep.
I've got that, and I added Suspicious Observer to show notes, so we'll make sure everybody has that. And
excellent.
We need to start getting trusted sites link up on our webpage, whiskeyhellpod.com.
Yeah.
So
that's a great idea.
That we really like getting to.
Yeah, and we actually, one thing we didn't talk about in housekeeping earlier, we got added to a list of. Somebody put out a tweet like, "Hey, you need to be following these." How did they word it? These patriots? Is that how they worded it?
Yeah, we were termed patriots, which we appreciate it.
Yes,
we're like you prefaced earlier in the show. We're not MAGA. We're neutral when it comes to a lot of this stuff. We just call out bullshit when we see it. But it was nice to be included on the list. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, it was, and I feel like we got a boost in our viewership too. Our as far as people that are following us. So that was really nice, and shout out to whoever put us on that string. That's much appreciated. And what I did was everybody was on the list. I followed back also.
That's awesome.
Just so we're kind of so it's mutually beneficial for everybody. And we do have our final Hefe sighting for the evening. So this is a great way to end the show. Hefe, how's it going?
Oh, well, I just got off roulette. That game can be so fucking stressful.
In what way?
When there's like a lot of players with a lot of chips, and doing the math isn't like the hard part. I mean, that's the hard part, I guess, but the stressful part is when you're shoveling, hundreds of chips to the mucker, and then you got to help the mucker because they can't do it by themselves, and you're trying to get it done as fast as you can. You're trying to pay the people. I mean, in a 20-minute down, you can spin the ball, 3 or 4 times because that's how long it takes to do this shit. And it's just, but I learned something from a couple of dealers that they said, if you're not getting tipped, then why are you hurrying? That's a really good point.
Yeah. Amen.
So I definitely changed my, my speed and all that based on if it's worth it. Today I made $4.
Wow.
So,
wow, dude. Good
Very
for
lucrative.
you. When are we going to Vegas?
Well, that's not all. I did clock in on the way in today too, so I'm getting my hourly also. So I mean, I can't even begin to fathom how much I'm bringing in tonight. But we'll go to Vegas a few times this summer, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, I'm not. I don't want to tell you how to spend your money, but $4. I mean, even if you kept half of it, you could give me and Steve $1 each to put towards our Vegas fund, and that's just huge.
Well, plus I got that 24 cents from Subway too. I still got that.
Oh yeah,
you do.
Yeah,
and let's not forget, the $13 that we're making from the show.
Oh God, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, we're rolling in it. Hey, I want to bounce something off of you guys real quick. I had
Okay.
I had a moment yesterday. So I wanted to do some manscaping, and I went ahead and I ordered a Twitter. I ordered a clipper off of Amazon. Have you guys ever bought anything, a personal device of any sort, off of Amazon? I know
Oh, yeah.
we've each had our the stuff that we've been gifted.
Right. Right.
But have you guys ever bought anything any personal devices?
Oh, sure. Sure. Many. Yes.
I don't really do Amazon.
Okay. Well, you might want to stay away from it because the clippers that I got, it was actually called the. Let me get this for you here, because it's very important. The name is incredibly important. It is the Meridian Ball Trimmer. Okay. Meridian Ball Trimmer, men. Body hair trimmer, men. Ball shaver, men. Pubic hair trimmer, men. Body shaver, men. That's the description of it, right? So I spent, it was like $48, right? I'm like, all right, this will be cool.
Not cheap, but yeah.
But it'll take care of everything that I want to trim, right? Downstairs, upstairs, whatever. I got it covered.
Carpet, curtains, everything's getting trimmed.
Carpet, yeah, everything's good. We're gonna be nice and baby smooth. I got it. Opened the box. The inside box that had the actual trimmer in it was open.
Oh God, you got a used one?
They sold me what should have been new, a used trimmer, and I can't tell you how many pubes were in it.
Oh God, no.
So after you used it, did you put it? You're gonna send it back to him?
Well, yeah, I licked it, and then I went ahead and decided to. No, I didn't even fucking use this thing.
No, I know.
You should have done a DNA sample to find out who the fuck it was that used it first.
What the fuck is wrong with Amazon? Can anybody tell me what in the fuck is wrong with you?
You know what? I'll tell you what's wrong. They are, when you're making $28 billion every 3 seconds or whatever they make, I don't know. They don't give a fuck anymore about anything.
They so don't.
No.
Well, those workers, I mean, they're like, well, they're just going to leave me in a big warehouse when a tornado comes anyway. So fuck them.
Yep.
I'm going to use them. I send them out.
Yep. No, I mean,
so it was industrial sabotage. I got fight clubbed.
Oh my God. You did basically. Well, and I mean, I just love, I'll never forget when the Amazon workers were going to unionize, and Amazon was like, oh, no, yes, please. We want you to unionize. But we want all of you to know that you're all fired because we're going to make robots do your jobs for you. So bye. I mean,
eat a dick.
That's literally how they're running their business. We're going to make robots do your shit if you're going to unionize. Otherwise, be happy with the $12 an hour we're paying you and fuck off. Crazy. I mean, and I mean, we put up with it. It keeps happening.
So all I can tell you is that if you ever have that happen to you, make sure you go to customer service just for this sheer pleasure of saying, hey, I want to be compensated because my trimmer has pubic hair on it.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic conversation I had with their customer support.
No, that's hey, on the flip side, can I give a shout out? We're not getting paid for this or anything, but I when I find a company that I really like, I want to give a quick shout out on the show. This is Grim Workshop, GRIM workshop.com. And what these guys do is they put all kinds of different, everyday carry, EDC kits into credit card sized things that you can put in your wallet. So I, for instance, I'm interested in lock picking, not as like I want to break into places, but just as a hobby. I've been getting into picking locks, and they have a credit card one that has literally all the things you would need: a pick, a torsion, bar, the fork, the raked piece. It's all in this credit card thing that's in my wallet that at any time I can pull out and use to pick a lock if I say needed to or wanted to or whatever. They also have dog tag ones that are like a quick, easy sewing kit. They have fishing kits that come in these things, and they're really inexpensive. And I'll tell you too, they not only are they inexpensive, but the shipping on it is pretty reasonable. But if you put in the code military123, you get free shipping. So I'm just going to throw that out there too. But the credit card I got, it was $20. It's all stainless steel. It's really well made, and they do all kinds of shit at this site. So go on, check it out. I was really impressed. I got some birthday money. So I'm like, what would I buy myself that I wouldn't normally buy myself? So this is what I bought. And now I'm like, well, shit, now I need to be buying myself all this kind of stuff. So anyway, kind of the opposite of Amazon. This is a small American company. They're doing everything by hand. And it's just, it's a really, really fun website to get on there and find out what they're doing. So go check out Grim Workshop. And it's crazy because it's not just like you just think, well, everyday carry, it's guy stuff. There's stuff for everybody on there. Bottle openers, like I said, fishing kits, sewing kits, all kinds of different
fire starting.
Yes, fire starters. Yes,
micro tools. Yeah,
it's just cool stuff. So anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out to them. Again, we're not getting sponsored by them or anything, but they're definitely worth the check out. They're just a really cool company.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna wind up the show, I think. Hefe, any words for the coming week?
That's a negative.
No. The whole next week is going to be positive, right? Positive.
It's going to be perfect. It's going to be amazing.
Yes. It's going to be a great fucking week. Make it your bitch.
Fitz,
Bingo.
What beer are you taking to bed?
Oh shit! By far the Great Notion. This Imperial is just a beautiful beer. I would say it's only gotten better as it's warmed up. Like I said, that first beer, the conjugal visit was, I mean, I had 6. I had a beer. It was great. It's a chocolate beer. It wasn't anything that I'd go back for. I really wouldn't. This one, however, I'm really interested in going and finding some more of Great Notion's stuff. This was, like you said, very solid beer, very solid brewery. I definitely go back for this one again. And delicious beer. So that's definitely what I'm doing.
Hey Fitz, are you coming down here anytime soon?
It looks like there's a possibility the 2nd or 3rd week of August, but that's like a 50-50. I'm going to coin flip that one. I don't know.
All right.
Why?
I just thinking I want to have some beer and.
Oh yeah. Well, you do know, I guess we're kind of dating ourselves here, but this is our 30-year high school reunion coming up. And I saw a post from, well, I guess I shouldn't name him on the show. That would give away too much. But I saw a post from somebody who's trying to get class of 93 from that particular high school to get this thing planned. So if that happens, I may try and get down there for it.
Hefe kind of wore out his welcome on the 10-year. I
don't think that's true.
It is was it the 5 or the 10?
I think it was the 10, yeah.
Yeah, it was the 10. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna skip that.
Well, if I go, you're coming with me. I'm calling it now.
McShane's got to go too. I don't care where he went to school.
All right.
You know what?
Whiskey Hell is representing.
We'll pick out somebody who's not there, and we'll say I'm them.
Yeah.
Perfect.
One of the dead kids.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Every year we were there, a kid died.
Yeah, every year.
It just reminds me of that scene in Grosse Pointe Blank when the assassin comes to the high school reunion, and he says, "It is I," and he just picks up a name tag and he holds it up, and she's like, "Oh my, you've aged well." And it's like, of course, not who he said he is, but that's how I'm going to walk in. I'm going to say, "It is I." Anyway, yeah. But otherwise, I mean, I kind of mentioned the interview earlier in the show. If I get this job, I'll be coming down there pretty often. Actually, I think that's just a commitment I've made to myself and friends and family there in Phoenix, and then also to my wife. I need to get down there more. You know, none of us are getting any younger, so you'll see a lot more of me. But if I don't get the job, then, you know, fuck off. You'll never see me again.
Wheat. Right
Aye. Okay.
What's Steve's beer?
You know what? I'm gonna go with a sour. Because
Really?
the IPA was just an IPA. Yeah. I wouldn't go buy it again, but that's the one I would take to bed. So that was the Hydra. If you want to follow us on Twitter, it is at @whiskey_hell. whiskeyhellpod.com is the website. You guys can find us on Instagram, same names, whiskeyhellpod@gmail.com is the website. We appreciate you listening. All the new followers, thank you. Thank you for downloading, subscribing. We love it. This keeps us going, so keep that shit up. We love you. I'm Steve McShane.
I'm Fitz, and on behalf of Hefe, have a great night, everybody.
We'll talk to you soon.